What's up, YouTube? Deadpool2323. Back at it with another episode of Comic Hunting Tips. If this is your first time checking out one of my comic hunting tips videos, it's episode 2, so there's only one other one. But what I try to do is just give tips to maybe the novice hunter, to help them out and guide them toward getting the right, getting the right books and getting being able to find books in the wild. So getting into it. So in this episode, I'm going to give a buying tip and a hunting tip. Starting with the hunting tip. When people go hunting, they go to comic book stores. Not everybody has comic book stores in their area. But like where I live, I call it like comic book heaven in the Tampa Bay area. There's, within an hour and a half drive, over 20 stores I can go to. That's not including pawn shops and flea markets, and stuff like that. Antique stores. Used bookstores. Not all of them carry comics, but a lot of them do. And, a lot of times a place like that has a big selection, but they don't get hunted very much. And so that's not their main thing. So what they put a price on a book, and a book gets hot, and they don't know it because they're not really comic people. They're a bookstore who happens to have comics. There's one in my area, and after the Legion show came out last year, and that was getting kind of hot. New Mutants 26, first appearance of Legion. I went there and bought 4 of these for $1.85 a piece. That's what they had on there. I sold 3 of them for over $10 a piece, and kept one for myself. And I already had one. Actually, I've found that book in a lot of back issue bins. But used bookstores is a great place to hunt. But don't go driving. Call them. Call them. Look up their number. Call them around. Call them on the phone. Hey, do you guys have comic books? That's a great way to hunt. Instead of driving all over the place trying to find that great place, find these, the internet is. Same thing with pawn shops, everything. Call them. Hey, do you guys have comics? Hey, do you, A lot of times, people do. They do have them. They just don't advertise them. So, when you call them, you find out, or if you show up, a lot of times they're little honey holes, man. Another quick tip for hunting is pawn shops. Most pawn shops do not buy comics. Build a rapport with a non-commercialized pawn shop, meaning that this is a private owner who owns this. He pretty much works there. Build a rapport with them, and then leave them your phone number, so that if someone comes in with comics, ask him if he would take their number and call you with their number. He's helping his customer make a sale, which is bringing that customer back to him in the future, and you're getting comics at the price a pawn shop would have got it. He's not going to buy them, or they're not going to buy them because they don't know what they are, and they're very cautious, and you can't go wrong buying them. You can't go wrong with that. I've done that with a couple different pawn shops. Some of them call me, some of them don't. I had a huge score off of a pawn shop one time that didn't sell comics, and I just happened to be in there at the right place, right time. In fact, I scored 2 copies of New Mutants 98 that way. So that's a big tip. Now, that's hunting tips. Let me give you a buying tip real quick. When I bought the 4 copies of this, the back of the book was sealed so strong with tape, a big thick piece of plastic tape, I couldn't open it. So I couldn't take the book out and check them out. So I was gambling. I was gambling that they were going to be in good condition. One of them wasn't. One of them, the humidity must have gotten in there or something, and the back of it actually stuck to the backboard. That is what it is. You know, I don't remember. I know I sold that still, but I was honest with the sale. And I still got more money than I paid for it. However, in a store like that, you're taking a gamble. But if at the dirt cheap price, it's worth the gamble. But when you're buying a book, I don't care if you're buying a $20 book, a $5 book, a $2,000 book. You want to, if it's raw, inspect it. Open that book up. Count the pages. If they have it sealed and they say they are not going to take it out, don't buy it, guys. Any professional dealer will, at the very least, maybe they don't want you opening it, but they'll open it and go through it themselves. And if they're not willing to do that, it's not worth the gamble. And I'll give you a case in point. I bought a book off a dealer. Never dealt with a dealer before. I felt like I got a decent price. It was X-Men 221. Yeah, 221, the first appearance of Mr. Sinister. I wanted to open the book up. He said it was in kind of a harder plastic case, and it was sealed. And he says he didn't want to break it open. He said it was a pain in the ass to open. So he gave me a good price. You know, not a great price, but a good price. On the center of the book, right here, was a little square sticker, and it said first appearance or it had the price $49, I think it was, and I think he sold it to me for $39. I think he took $10 off or something like that. I got home, I went to put it into an actual bag and board, and right there where that sticker was, under that sticker was a stab mark from a knife, and it went clear through the book, but you couldn't see out the back because there was a backboard. It went clear through the book, a complete, like someone took a knife and went tunk. Bought it at a small convention. Nothing I could do about it. I did run into that dealer again at a major convention, and I said something to him about it. He apologized profusely. He said the whole collection he bought were in those type of holders. He said it was a collection he bought. He doesn't use that himself. And he said, hey, man, pick a book, and I'll give you a great deal. And there was a book. I forget what the book was now, but the price on the book was $45. He said $10. I said, okay. So, I mean, the guy was a legit dealer, but I got lucky. That doesn't always happen. And I got lucky because he remembered me because I bought a lot of books from him. And it was a year and a half later that I ran into him. It wasn't recent. It wasn't like a couple days later. It was a year and a half later. So you know, I got lucky. He was a reputable dealer, fortunately for me, and a good guy. And he didn't have to do that. He could have just said, "Oh man, I'm sorry about that." But guys, check those books out. Go through them. Make sure those value stamps are there. Make sure those tattoos are there. Know what's supposed to be in the book before you buy it. So that's it for this episode of Comic Hunting Tips. If you like the video, hit like, hit subscribe, and good luck out there hunting, guys.